Welcome to week 10. Are you ready for the rest of the semester? It's coming! Hey everybody, hope you had a very nice Halloween. Boo. And I hope that everything is going well for you to this point. Before we get to anything else, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the ethics essay. And there's two really big issues we need to address. First off, let's talk about the essay's focus. No, not this kind of focus. I mean, how well you're narrowing down in your subject. And one of the problems I saw with this essay is a lot of people were going for stuff that was pretty big scale instead of getting near narrow and specific. And I want to go over that a little bit. There's a big difference between going general and getting into specific examples. When I'm a reader, and all readers are this way, if we can see specific examples, we can picture where the thing is going. We can picture the things in our mind, and we're more engaged with the material. If you go big, broad, and general, it's hard for me to think of anything other than an overview. You don't talk about shoes, you talk about running shoes, or more specifically, Nikes. Let's explore that just a little bit more. I could talk about actors, and there are an awful lot of actors here, and a lot of awful famous actors here. Or I could talk about an actor. If I'm talking about an actor, I can get into a lot more specifics than if I'm talking about actors in general. If I could talk about sports, but how can you narrow sports down to a topic which is really good enough for a paper? They're all way too broad. Well, one way to start is by picking a specific sport, something where something interesting, unusual, or weird is going on that goes against expectations. Let's get into this level of specificity a bit more specifically. Yeah, sure. We could talk about law. Law is a big, massively complex thing, though. We could talk about the stand your ground laws. They've been in the news in the last 5 years. The idea that if somebody is threatening you, you don't have to retreat from the danger. You can protect yourself. Well, as you see, there's an awful lot of places which have stand your ground laws. They outnumber the places that do not. Florida has a very specific stand your ground law. And you know about the Florida stand your ground law because there's been a specific incident where it came up. So if I'm talking about the Florida stand your ground law, I immediately have a mass advantage because there's a specific bit to get examples from. I can describe specific things that happen, and the reader is going to be able to picture that in their mind. If I talk about them in general, it's hard not to get lost in all of the noise and all of the ether. When you do your essay subjects, you have to go specific. This is particularly the case when you're stating your argument in the thesis statement and the topic sentences. There are types of writing that go general to specific. The inverted pyramid is how you do journalism. The thing is, we're not doing journalism. In academic writing, you start specific. You can always expand to the world as you go throughout the paper, but you have to start specifically. The second issue I had has to do with the overall approach to the ethics essay. It's an ethics essay. And you know what I didn't see all that often in this, even though I've talked about it a lot? People who are using the word ethics or any of the ethics terminology we used in the videos. And that was something I've been trying to harp on. But if your essay doesn't say it's about ethics, then it's not about ethics. You have to engage the language in order for it to be about the subject. You have to engage the critical approach, and that's what we are doing here, taking a specific critical lens and using it to look at a subject. The assignment sheet said specifically, it's an analysis of the ethics of a specific situation. If you don't say ethics, it's not about ethics. If you don't engage in the language of ethics, it's not using that critical lens. If you just say this is unethical and then write a paper that that's your only engagement with it, it's not an ethics essay. You have to engage the specific language. I'm afraid that one just isn't optional. Now, you're getting ready to move into the research essay, and there's not a specific critical lens which you have to use, but that whole idea of a specific focus, you still have to apply that. Yeah, it's a longer paper, but it's only a 6-page paper. Here's a helpful hint. If your subject you could write a book about it, it's probably not good for a 6-page paper. Going. Keep in mind that with the research essay, there isn't going to be revision just simply because it's due at the very end of the semester. So there's no time really. On to some other work. The other things we have going for this week, we have a sample student essay, Will and Grace. It is the best of the sample student essays so far, so I hope that when you go through it, you look to see where it is now and look to see how it can be tweaked to get a bit better. And we got a video next week going on that. We have the Writing Skills Builder metaphor number 3. This one is going to ask you to do zombies as a metaphor for something. Zombies are almost always a metaphor for something. If you've been lucky enough to see Dawn of the Dead, that was one where the survivors were caught in a shopping mall, and the zombies were trying to get all ends and get them in. And they were caught in a shopping mall. Gee, is that about consumerism? Yes, it was. What are zombies a metaphor for you? We have an MLA quiz. It's basic citation stuff. We had a video last week. There are links available in links which will help you go over it. I just want to see you being able to get everything right. And we'll go over that next week. We have James Baldwin for our reading this week. And out of all the readings we've had this semester, I think that's probably my favorite. It's one of the best written ones. James Baldwin rocked as a writer. It's very well done. I'm still working on getting grading caught up. My priorities are going to be those ethics essays, and when I get them up, I'm going to get everything else caught up, and then when I finally get the narrative 3 votes up, I'll let you know. I'll give you enough time for those, but that's in the forthcoming area. So look over your ethics essay. Make sure you understand where things are going. Make sure you understand the focus in my comments. If you have questions, let me know. If you want to revise them, let me know. You have Metaphor 3 Writing Skills Builder. You have Will and Grace. You have James Baldwin and an MLA quiz. And I think that's probably enough for now. Hope you enjoy your week. If you have questions, let me know, and I will see you next video.